Hey guys, hey, come on in, come on in. Yeah, we're just having some technical difficulties, but we will get started shortly. Whoop, whoop. Yep, we had a good time yesterday for MAMS. If you watch MAMS, make sure you watch that live stream. Gonna wait for some more. We're gonna wait a few more seconds before we get started. All right, so now we're just gonna wait for Lucy to come in. She's here. And we'll go ahead and get started. Hey, Lucy.
Hey, everyone. Hey.
Yeah. Ooh.
So we do apologize that we were again, we were trying to get a few things ready. So we do apologize on our end. But we are here. We were supposed to start this at 6:15. However, we ran into some complications, so we really truly do apologize for that. But we are here, so let's just get it started. We do have a few things to really discuss. As you all know, I mentioned earlier that one of our subscribers had directed us to this topic, something it's really big on here on YouTube, of course. So they kind of brought this to our attention. It's called Surviving Mary Jane. So we really kind of looked into it, and we watched a few videos, and of course listened to a few of the victims, because this is in regards to alleged scamming. Again, it's called Surviving Mary Jane. So we're just gonna really dive into that, and really, just kind of get our commentaries as well. And I think that we can learn a lot from this situation. So yeah, I hope everyone is really is out, just out, because I know it's Memorial Day weekend. But again, we do want you guys to have fun, but we also want you all to stay safe. There's a lot of things going on out there. So yeah, just, be cautious at all times. So Sin, how are you? What are you doing? How's your day going so far?
Um.
Um,
Oof.
oof,
There's like
there's
that.
like that.
Okay.
Okay,
Still a little
still a little.
static. Are you on the other? Like, are you on the YouTube? Are you logged onto the YouTube? Okay. All right. Because sometimes when if we're logged onto the YouTube, you guys already know if you're like doing live stream. Sometimes there is a little bit of staticking going on. So that's why I'm like asking Lucy if she's on the YouTube, because there is some staticking going on. But so let's go ahead and get started. Let's just kind of set up the narrative, the scenario, what's going on. So like Lucy said, one of our subscribers did refer this story to us. It's called Surviving Mary Jane here on YouTube. And to answer your question, Lucy, I am doing good. I'm doing great. It's been a good day. I'm ready for Friday, ready for the weekend. So yeah, I'm ready to relax. But like I said, one of our subscribers did refer this story to us. It's called Surviving Mary Jane. If you don't know who she is a travel vlogger here on YouTube. And I'll let Lucy just kind of set up this topic and stuff.
So yeah, so like Sin said, Mary Jane is she's a traveling. She's a self-proclaimed solo traveler. She is here on YouTube. She also is really popular on Instagram as well. And it says that she's based in Egypt, but I think she also comes in and out, and she is in the U.S. If I'm not correct, Sin. I'm not sure she's based here in the U, but her Instagram does say based in Egypt.
So
So
she
she
is.
is.
She's
She's
from.
from.
So she is from New Jersey, and she travels in and out of New Jersey, you know. So like not in and out. She's like she's originally based in New Jersey, but she's a solo traveler. She travels all over the world. She really got popular. There was a viral video that went live, like that went live a few years ago, where she did her hair like she went to a Chinese salon in China, and they did her natural, of course, like natural hair. So that video went viral. So that's kind of how she got a lot of like recognition and stuff, especially being a solo traveler. And also, people really enjoyed her content because it was just like you saw this like everyday black women just traveling. You're like, oh wow, like how is she, you know, she's traveled to almost 100 countries, and you're like, okay, wow, like you feel like you're in that journey with her. So I used to watch her, especially when she did her travel vlogs and stuff, like the China. I think one time she even went to North Korea. um yeah, that was really interesting. And she's been to like India, Bali, all these kind of places, beautiful places. So I think that's kind of like where her niche is.
Yeah, I saw somewhere in her Instagram where, and then we are going to dive into this, but we just kind of want to introduce you guys to, because we're all surprised as well. So we just want to really just kind of talk about who she is and just kind of some of the things that she does. So it does her profile does say she's been over to like 104 countries. So that's pretty neat. I mean, and then which brings us to our, you know, to the next topic of what is she being accused of. So Mary Jane, it is apparent that Mary Jane is being accused of really scamming. I would just call it travel scamming. And so basically, she will have some, some of some of the people who that look up to her, that admire her, her subscribers, and she would basically they'll see her photos, and she's traveled all these different places, and they're really amazed. Who doesn't want to just go out and travel? Who doesn't want to have that kind of lifestyle where you're just traveling all over the place, all around the world, just enjoying your time? So basically, these people, individuals, will give her money to set them up for, I believe, for the trips. And it seems like, when and Sin, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. What's up?
So she would set them up, because again, these are from different people, victims who've come forth. Some of them have gotten their money back, and some of them have not. So it's really kind of complicated case. But I know that some of these individuals we're talking about, they've given her money where they would, for her to set up the traveling for these people, and it either it didn't come through, or they weren't really paying for what they were bargaining for, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much she, like as a solo traveler, she's looking for people maybe to go on trips with her. So she set up like a travel group trip where she's inviting her subscribers to come with her. I think there's like they went to a few places, Dubai, Egypt. But let's talk about the Dubai one. So the Dubai trip. So pretty much she told all her subscribers everything's all inclusive. She's going to handle everything, all the flights, hotel. She's going to create the itinerary, the food, like pretty much everything is going to be covered. So as a subscriber, you're like, oh wow, like like this will be such a great opportunity. Why not travel the world with Mary Jane Byarm? And how she takes her pictures and stuff. So this is what the people who are subscribed to her, they are looking to go on this really nice trip with her. So So she booked. So I guess like how it went was, so all the ladies, they gave her, the money, everything she needed, and they left it up to Mary Jane to book the travel. So as a date to like the day when the date comes closer, when the trip is coming closer, they haven't really heard much from Mary Jane, and they're asking about, okay, like what's up, what's the update in regards to the trip, like what is actually going on. And they're not really hearing much from Mary Jane. Mind you, they gave all of her money to, like, the money and stuff to Mary Jane. And they haven't really heard much from her. And you guys know that in some places, especially now with COVID, you have to make sure everything is good, especially if you travel during COVID. Like, some places require you to have a RT-PCR for the COVID test. So you have to like plan those like you have to plan it, and um and also like they're like, you know, they ask her, okay, like what's actually going on? Any updates on the flight? She's like, okay, I got that all handled, got that all taken care of. But one thing, they're saying, well, we haven't really gave you our passport. So how can you book this trip when we haven't given you our passport? Like, don't you need our passport? And then she's like, oh, she works for Emirate. Was it Emirate? She said she works
Yeah,
for
yeah, it
Emirate.
was Emirate. And we're not just talking about. Listen, guys, we're not just talking about like $100. We're talking about like thousands of dollars that people are really putting in to really take these trips. So some of these victims, these are their hard work and money. Like a lot of these victims are saying some of these. This is some of their savings that they've really saved up. So these a lot of these victims are really they're really coming out and really trying to figure out how they can get their money back or what they can do. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna let Sin finish.
Okay. Yeah. So, and also like in this live, we just want to say that we have no pun intended. We don't want to victim shame any of these victims, because like some of these people, like Lucy said, some of these people are hardworking. Some of them were students, some of them were, moms of threes, and some of them, you just want to go to a nice vacation, and also to have somebody that you trust and you see like influencer, you're like, okay, like you see that, you feel like you kind of gain a trust for them. So once again, you're like, okay, I want to go on this trip. Like I see that she's having a really good time, so let me just kind of trust her with my money, and trust her that she will first pay for the flights, pay for the hotels, because she's used to this. She's traveled almost 100 countries. So you would think, okay, she kind of has she has a lot of experience with traveling. So once again, the ladies, they gave her the money and stuff. And um, I guess like when it came to the flight, like, okay, let's say when they got to the hotel and stuff, like everything was not as it was planned to be. Like there was no exact itinerary. She was really she didn't really have like everything planned, especially with the hotels and stuff. Like there was no like direct like hotel booking. It was kind of like she reserved it but not actually booked it. If because some places you can reserve hotels but you won't actually book it. So it was just like everything was all over the place. It was like everything was all over the place. And there's a few victim stories that I would definitely advise you all to watch. And one of the stories was, I think there was a YouTuber. She done an interview with some of the victims. But you can just type in "Surviving Mary Jane" here on YouTube, and you will like listen to the victim stories like firsthand. But we just want to kind of cover it because we want to talk about we want to talk about scamming, and especially because we've been victims of being scammed before, and trust me, it is not fun at all. Like it's no joke. But we just want to come in here and we want to share the story because we feel like we don't want to victim shame, but we also as people, we also need to be careful who we trust, especially when it comes to our money.
Yes, you are so right, Sin. We have been victims of this type of scam, especially on the internet, especially here on social media. But ours is far from what these people are accusing Mary Jane of. Ours was just under $100. But we're talking about, again, we're talking about $1,000. Like, we're not talking about anything under $100. So theirs are very, as theirs is a very different case. So I can understand why, this is going viral, and it's kind of instant. You know what's so funny is that this Mary Jane person, it seems like she's not trying to communicate with these victims. Like, these these people are coming out here saying that she took their money, and this it just seems like they're not really getting through. And it sucks because, again, these are influencers, people that you look up to, people that you admire on YouTube and here. And that again, that brings us to our next topic of, you know, how can what can you do differently? Hope, like, maybe on something, when you see something like this, did you learn your lesson? Or what how do you now, like, think about some of these Instagram or social media influencers? Like, what do you have high hopes for them? Like, what would you be doing differently? Because, again, these are just people, social media influencers, YouTube influencers. They're just people just like us. They do common things that we do. And again, they live their life differently. The way that they're living their life is not the way you're going to be living your life. What glitters is not gold. So hopefully some of these victims learn a lesson from this. I'm pretty sure they have learned a lesson. Because, hey, while I would also want to be feeling the same way, like, I would also want to take these trips as well. But for me, I feel like if it's $1,000, anything past $500, or even not even, yeah, $500, I feel like I need to be asking questions, like, what are the itineraries, like you said, Sin. How, what are the precautions are we taking, especially with COVID? Like, what are some of the regulations? Like, I need to make sure that everything is on paper. I need to have it, like, I need to be basically to be reading some of these things, because I just can't trust anyone online, especially with this amount of cash, like money going in. And no, and especially what's going on now, frauding, internet scams, so many things are going on. So I can understand why people want to take that chance, take that vacation and stuff. But for me to be don't really know that amount of money, that is where I don't understand. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming anyone, I'm not trying to victim shame anyone, but I think that it's just that we just need to be a little bit more cautious on how, what we're doing, who we're looking up to. Again, these are people just like us. So I just wanted to just put that out there.
Yeah, that's right. And like I said, like some of these victims were her subscribers, they were her supporters, and sometimes, like, when they went on these trips, like, they said that Mary Jane was being very rude to them, being very mean to them. Um, some of them even paid for their own hotels and the hotel she was staying in. They paid for her food, they paid for taxi, they paid for some of their excursions. So it's like, well, what happened with all of the money that, like, I'm not sure, like, what exactly, like, happened, but these are what they're saying. They're sharing their story. And I think that what we can learn from this is, like, we can definitely learn a lot from this, because, yeah, like, sometimes, like, you just never know. You just kind of just like, okay, well, you put your trust in somebody, and you hope that everything falls through. No one expects something like this to happen to them. We hear all the time. Sometimes it's easier said than done, until it happens to you. Like, until it happens to you. Sometimes you're like, this is too good to be true. It is too good to be true. But one thing I would recommend is, definitely, if you are um, never, especially on the internet, never pay anybody a large sum of money through Cash App or Zelle or even PayPal. Don't do it. if they're not like a legit, like if you have no way of tracking them, nah, do not do it at all. Either use a credit card, because that way when you use a credit card, if something happens, just call your credit card company. They can just take it out. It's like it never happened. That's definitely one thing I would definitely suggest. Ask them, well, can you run it through credit, or can you run it through this? And if they say no, they like, nah, because if something happens to your money, there's no way you can actually track it or get your money back. And I really hope that these ladies, they do get their money back. I hope that Mary Jane really listens to these all of their stories, and really work to get these ladies their money back, because it's not easy. Like, maybe it may not be a lot for her, but it is a lot for the ladies. And I really hope that she gets, does the right thing and gives them their money back. But the ladies also have formed some, like, a coalition, and they are really seeking matters into their own hands. Like, they are actually going out there, not only just talking about it on um, social media, but they're actually doing, like, lawsuits and filing different places. So they're really, really walking the walk and talking the talk.
Yes, and I can definitely, I would, for me, I think I would do the same thing. Again, it's for me, it's about, I think it's about the integrity, the trust that I have, that I've built. Oh, I would say that trust, and if it depends on how the relationship was. Like, I'm assuming these were just her supporters and subscribers, right? I don't think it was anything where it was a friendly relationship, like a friend to friend type of relationship. So it could be looked at differently. But however, I just feel like, Mary Jane definitely should listen to some of these ladies, especially if it did happen as they're saying it occurred. I think that she should definitely, before this case, before, this really ruins her reputation and just anything else that she has going on. So yeah, and another thing that I did want to also touch on is, what are some of the next step for these ladies? Like, and I think one question I wanted to ask was, what inspired them, what motivated them to, go as forth as sending that amount of money to someone they don't even know, and wishing to, instead of going to a traveling agent, or doing these kind of things alone, like just by themselves. So it's not. So again, I'm trying to more. I'm not trying to victim shaming. I'm just trying to understand. So hopefully, you guys can come. Like, if you are been in this situation, hopefully you can come in, because I'm just a little curious. Like, what exactly happened, and just kind of get some of the details, I would say. So that's just kind of like how I'm looking at it, or just the questions that I do have. But I'm just a little curious.
Yep. And
Yep. And
so I see, like, a few people watching. So if you're watching, make sure you say hi. So if you're just coming in, we are talking about the Mary Jane Byarm situation that's going here on YouTube, and the trip where she is doing a travel kind of group trip, and she's just not keeping her promise. Women are coming out, girls are coming out saying that she pretty much scanned them for this trip. So that's what we're talking about. And if you've been in this situation, let us know, because we definitely want to share our story, where we actually have been in this situation before. But if you've been in this situation before, let us know.
Yeah, because we definitely know how it feels again to be in this situation, this scam situation. It's not a good. It doesn't feel good, and you start kind of losing trust, So especially, and this trust is just with anyone, not just those that are some of the influencers, but people who you meet every day. So it does kind of have an effect in how you um, go on, especially with friendships and stuff when you develop friendships. So yeah, like it's definitely going here on YouTube. It's definitely a lot of what people are really talking about, discussing. And yeah, so this is some stuff that we can learn from it. So, did you want to like talk, like kind of like tell them a little bit of details about the sort of an incident you had similar to this? I mean, you don't have to read a little bit of
Yeah. Okay, so you guys know that we are like small YouTubers here, and we also have an Instagram as well. Like we review shows, anything here and there, like we feel Smith can talk about, we'll definitely talk about it. So we're not like really we try to be active, but we're also have our own. We actually have like careers and working on something. Hi, is it DJ Carlise? Carsey? Hey. Okay, you got scammed with Amazon. Okay. I'm about to tell our story on how we actually got scammed by our own people, guys. We're Nigerian, okay? We got scammed by Nigerians, okay? And you would think, like, we know our people, we got scammed by our own people. Isn't that right, Lucy?
yeah, it's unbelievable, but yeah, it did happen. And DJ Carly's, I'm so happy you got your money back. I mean, yeah, you got your money back. That's even better. Some of us don't get our money back, and some of us haven't even seen money. Like and some of the people who have scammed us are nowhere to be found. So I'm glad you got your money back.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
know.
know.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so this is kind of what happened. So on Instagram, like we were trying to get some artwork done, like just some kind of like avatar kind of artwork done and stuff. So we advertised it. Hey, any graphic designers on YouTube? I'm sorry, any graphic designers. So we got a few like hits and stuff. Like, oh, some people were messaging us and were like, oh yeah, they're a graphic designer. And we're like, oh okay. We told them what we wanted and they're like, okay, yeah, 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 we can do it. And I'm like, okay, what's your fee? And it seemed reasonable for what we asked for. He asked for $65. We're like, okay, well actually it was like $35. Well, it was $65, but we paid him 35 in order to get it started. So we're like, okay, and then he's like, okay, what else? What did he say? Okay, so then he's like, oh, he's gonna get it started. He's already like started and stuff. And then for a few, and he started asking for more. We're like, no, we're not gonna pay you anymore because we haven't seen like any of the work that you've done. Like, show us the proof. And he's like, yeah, he's gonna show us the proof. But he needs like money for data or something like that. We're like, nah, because we usually catch up on those kind of things, but I don't know what happened that day. So I guess like it was just a way that he was saying it, and it just seemed so convincing and stuff. And I don't know like what happened. We just kind of went with it. We trust. It's like we kind of left, we kind of gave in. We're like, okay, we're gonna pay you $20. We're gonna pay you 20 extra dollars. So mind you, so we gave him 35. So with the 25, that's about like $55. Okay, and the total job was 65. So then he started asking for more. So it was like a few days went by. We're like, okay, where's the proof? And he said, oh, like because of the work that we're doing, he's gonna need a little bit more money. So we're like, oh my gosh, like well, like the
The
total
total
job
job
was
was, yeah, I think he said some sort of type of programming that was required, that when you're doing these type of artwork, you need the type of software programming or something like that. So he was definitely asking for more money. And I just wanted to say, this is a small, we definitely, our goal was, to support small business, just just really on our support. Again, we're a small YouTuber, so we wanted to also lend that support as well. So that's kind of what we were hoping for, but again, it failed us. But go ahead, Sin.
And mind you, we don't know anything about graphic design. We don't know like anything about like creative artwork, how that is, because we wanted to support like small businesses and stuff. Like our background, my background's in science. Lucy's background is in arts and like political arts and things like that. So we don't know anything about like graphic design, but we really wanted to support small businesses. So then we kind of gave him the whole money, and then we're like, hey, where's the work? And then he was like, he had a some kind of incident or something. His computer was messing up. He needed more money in order to fix the computer. So it was just all kinds of stuff. We're like, you know what? Just forget it. Give us our money back. Give us the Cash App, and because we can't. Okay, we sent the money through Cash App, guys. We sent the money through Cash App, and we're never gonna do that again, ever gonna do that again. So so what happened? Okay, so we're like, hey, give us the money back. We're requesting the money back. We keep asking for the money back. We're saying that we're going to report him to Cash App. There's really no way to report the person because like they didn't really go by their real name, and also they went by a pseudonym. Cash, like we try to report to Cash App. Cash App said there's really not much they can do. We requested to for him to give us the money back, and he kept declining. And we pretty much utilize all of our like anything we can think of until we just like had to kind of swallow our guts and just eat it. That was just 60, almost $55 lost. Like, yeah, that's $65 out the drain. I guess it's just like a learning lesson for us, to just kind of be careful on what people are advertising, especially, and we want to support small businesses and stuff. Um, so ever since then, we haven't really advertised, oh, we're looking for a graphic designer, because we just don't really trust. It's just hard to trust, like, who's truthful and who's not truthful. And also, after we were, bombarding the person, especially on Cash App and stuff, they deleted their Instagram. Actually, they didn't delete it. They turned into um, another like profile where they kind of like do verifications and all that kind of stuff. It was just a mess. And then they eventually deleted it. And then they started, I don't know, it was just a hot mess. But that's our story on how we got scammed on the internet. It's now that we think about it, we're like, oh my gosh. Although it was $65, and these girls, we lost almost, well, let's say $55, and these girls are losing thousands of dollars. So ours is not as much. Ours, we can just be like, okay, that's lesson learned. But these girls are losing a lot of money. And hey, everyone, if you are just coming in, we're talking about the travel vlogger, YouTuber. Her name is um, Mary Jane Byram, and people like her, subscribers are coming out saying that she scammed them um, from a trip. So that's what we're talking about, and we're just sharing our experience about how we got scammed on the internet. So yeah, that's our experience. And since then, we have not asked about any artworks. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of, and then we can definitely, so it's like we can relate to this, some of the things happening with some of these ladies. So we can definitely feel where they're coming from, especially when we're talking about thousands of dollars is involved. Like that's just crazy. So yeah, and again, it just seems like the Miriam, the Miriam, the sorry, Mary Jane. I keep calling her Miriam. The Mary Jane lady is not really. It's not. She hasn't been responsive. It seems like she hasn't been responsive to them, and it just seems like it's been more than it's a lot of people who this has happened to. And also, it was like Sin mentioned earlier. Some of the victims were being interviewed, and I think that they also mentioned that she would also kind of use, I want to say use, but basically I would say use their some of their sin, is it? She would also, let's say if they call like thing, she would also join them in the Uber. Like it was yeah. Right.
Okay, sorry guys. So pretty much Mary Jane, well, pretty much she's using their money to fund for, maybe travel and stuff. So like mind you, everything that she advertised her trip, like everything's supposed to be all inclusive. So when they got there, they realized it just wasn't really all inclusive. So let's say if they ordered an Uber, for instance, and stuff, she will also get in the Uber with them. And then the subscribers will pay for the Uber while she advertised everything as all inclusive. So, yeah.
Basically it's not inclusive if she's saying everything's inclusive. I remember one of the victims' story was that she thought that they were going to be in a yacht, but unfortunately once they got there she noticed that it was some more people that was in the yacht, and basically it was a community yacht. It wasn't like a private yacht, and she ended up finding out that instead of I think she said it was $1,000 or something that was given to Mary Jane, for the whole trip. Instead, she found out that Mary Jane had paid $40 per person for that yacht, and that's typical. Usually, like how much? Like I think yachts, like I mean, you have to pay. Especially if you're joining, like I was just call a community yacht when everyone, like people or everyone else is with you. Yeah, not your party, but everyone else, like maybe the other people, like families that also came on a trip, they're also in that yacht. So that's about how much you would pay. You would pay per person. So that was that was that was definitely, and I guess she started realizing that something fishy was going on. Something just didn't smell clean. Um, so yeah, that should have already told me. If I was like, oh no, something is up. And it was just like they wouldn't be getting like straight answers when they would ask her questions. She wouldn't be straightforward, like with what is going on. Just imagine being already being going to Dubai. I think they were at Dubai. This was Dubai. Just imagine already coming into the country of Dubai. You don't know anything. Definitely this was during the pandemic, and you feel like you have a traveling agent or someone who's actually leading, who has everything all planned out. And when you get there, it's just like nothing is how it's supposed to be. Like she didn't come through, and you just found this just to be. I mean, you're going to be very disappointed, right? I mean, come on, Dubai, right? Like where there's things to do in Dubai, but instead you're disappointed.
And And also, hey guys, if you're please coming in, please make sure you like this video. Also, subscribe to our channel, guys. We are trying to reach our goal, so just make sure you like this video. Also, subscribe, support our channel. So, if you're also joining in, once again, we are talking about the Mary Jane Byarm situation that's going on YouTube, where some of their subscribers are coming out saying that they were a victim of a travel kind of group travel scam or fraud that she was like doing and stuff, and it's all like allegedly. So we're just all gonna say that, but they are sharing their story, and like I said, we don't want to victimize them or anything, but just type it here on YouTube. Please listen to their story. Please use this as a lesson. Like, let's all learn from this. I know that it may look like, okay, oh, I'm never going to be in that situation. Yeah, say that now, but one day you may end up in that situation. So just use this as a lesson because, like I said, we've been in that situation. We told our story on how we have gotten scammed before. So just please, please, guys, please be very courteous of what happened to them. Don't victim shame. We keep saying, please don't victim shame them, because this is people's money and this is people's lives. So,
That's true. Oh, DJ Carly's. It's you. It's sad that it comes to she needs to be. Yes, she needs to be held accountable. That is definitely true. Again, the victims in this situation, they are. That's why they're on YouTube. Is saying these YouTube words spread faster than, I mean, social media platform in general. Everything spreads faster. So hopefully this will get around to where, I think she's in London. Somewhere I heard she's in London. So I'm not really sure if because of all of this, but so a lot of people have gone to their banks, and that's why they're coming on. They're coming in right now on all these different social platforms, and it seems like everyone has the same similar story, and they're putting two and two together. So it's definitely, again, like I said, it's not looking good on her part. It could definitely ruin her reputation. So I think she needs to just come in, and if allegedly these accusations that they're accusing her of, if this is what really is happening, I feel like she does need to come, hopefully work some things out with some of these victims who are coming out about this before it definitely, because this is, if this is right, it could definitely lead to some serious some, it could lead to somewhere where it shouldn't go. So
yeah.
yeah, so, and we're not really sure if she is running, but I don't know. It's because she's traveling again. And I think she's in London, so I think the restrictions there are a little strict. So I'm not sure what her movements are, or whether she's back in the U.S. But it just seems like, again, some of the victims have not been able to get through her, or been able to really get their money back. So I think that's kind of like where they're at now. Again, we just hope that, like we said, we've been in a similar situation, but we just hope that for Mary Jane, in order for, when we see you have a huge platform, and for your overall, just to protect your who you are as an influencer, and just as someone people are looking up to, it's be definitely the right thing to really talk to these victims and see what you can do, and just to keep your image and to your integrity. So
Yeah, I think we also we may just play a little snippet of one of the victims sharing her story. Let me see. Gotta find, because they did an interview with one. I need to find that YouTuber because I have to, because she did such a good job with the interview, and I have to give her her props. Let me see. And this, she also hosted a Dubai trip, and she hosted an Egypt trip as well. Oh, where is this YouTuber? Oh man, if I find her, I'm definitely going to recommend you guys listen to the interview. I think it's like Jazzy. Yeah, I'm gonna look for her. I'm gonna look for her.
she might be in Dubai with Russell Simmons. They can't get you there. hopefully she's um hopefully she's not she's hopefully wherever she's at, just know that they're looking, her, some of the victims are wanting to communicate with her, and hopefully get through with her regarding this. So hopefully she's listening, and hopefully she'll do the right thing if of all these alleged accusations.
Ours, yeah,
Yeah,
our
our
Yeah, like our just asking, please, just do right by your subbies and the people who really trusted you. Just give them their money back. Just give them their money back, or work towards giving them their money back. And if this is true, yeah, just work towards it. Because that is a lot of money. Like that, it is a lot of money just to be, just to be toyed around with. So let me play this clip. This is a clip of the four victims. They are all together and they're talking about like pretty much what happened to them. I don't so here I'm just gonna play a quick little clip. And one of the victims name, I think her name is Sequoia. This is her. She had an Instagram where they all kind of met up and they talked about their stories. So just listen up.
You know, Semi V said she kept talking about him on the trip.
About who?
She's claiming to have gone on a trip as well with men.
Can you tell your story? For all the for like this thing happened to.
Okay, so this short kind of clip I'm gonna play is one of the victims. She actually went to Dubai. This is was in the Dubai trip. So please just listen to her story and what she did go through.
Like when I was there, I even saw that she was hosting the trips, but there was no one there. I saw that she was texting another girl. She would say like, "Oh, this girl is like saying that she paid for the trip," and like she was talking about people complaining. So my thing was, because I respect like what she does and everything, and I didn't want to say anything because that's her job, and I know that's what she does, and I didn't know anyone had problems with her. So at first I thought, if I say something, I know that she has like followers and people are gonna come and just I'll have to constantly defend myself. Like I didn't know there was like other people having problems as well.
Mm-hmm. Those are my thoughts too. I mean, this is someone that was inspiring at first,
Right.
So
yeah.
It's like, the immature, there's kids watching too. They think that you want her life and all of that, but not that at all.
After that, I was traumatized. Like, I don't believe in no YouTubers at all, because I'm like, this is not okay. So my problem was like that. So I stayed with her and everything. And she was saying like crazy things, like, and I was just like, first of all, I've never seen her pray like one day that I was there. She doesn't have a Bible. Okay, like this is all she would say. No, honestly, it was
okay, guys. I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit where she kind of talks about her experience, what actually happened.
It's really sad because much crap about like all learned about Dubai, and after like so one time like on her birthday day, she just got like mad out of nowhere, and like, because honestly when I was there, she would tell me to like take pictures of her all the time.
So if you're coming in, this is one of the subscribers that actually went on a trip with the travel vlogger Mary Jane. So she's telling her experience, what actually happened when she went on the trip and how much she had to pay, and just everything's not as it seemed to be. So
and right. And I'm like, I paid to be here. I understand. I completely understand. But she will like make me do like a bunch of things for her. But me, nice, I was like, okay, I was. Okay, now I took so many pictures of her. I was like, can you please take a picture of me like so nicely after I did so many things for her? And she will be like with such a nasty attitude. And I'm like, and then at one point, like we were like in the car, and she was saying horrible things about like the gay like community, like horrible things about like we were talking. Yeah, we were talking about. I think she was like my mom sent me like Christmas sweaters for me and her to wear together and everything like that. And like she locked me out of the room, threw the key at me. I was such in shock that I didn't believe that this was happening because that was in during the day.
So pretty much she's saying that allegedly Mary Jane locked, like they were in Dubai, and the girl, she's never been to Dubai before. Um she's never been to Dubai before. She was really kind of nervous because this is like an all like she's a woman. Especially going to Dubai. So you guys kind of know, especially if you're a woman, you kind of know how that is in traveling alone. So she's really scared. And the only person she knew was Mary Jane. So she said that so I guess they got into they had like, I guess, I don't know. She said something to that they kind of had a disagreement or something, and Mary Jane, uh, um, threw her out of the not threw her out of the room, but like went into the room, locked the door, and threw the key at her. And mind you, this is a room that the subscriber paid for. So yeah, so I'll let you guys listen up to the whole story.
Yes. Days. I was like, no, this girl is not like that. I'm like, there must be something going on.
Right.
And then I was like, okay. So then after that, she let me out of the room. I just stayed in the hall, like I was just waiting. Then she opened the door. I went inside, and then I just sit on the bed, and she kept like yelling and saying a bunch of things. I was just like, okay. And she's like, oh, it's my birthday. You're ruining my day, blah, blah, blah. And then she made like appointment to go to the spa, and then she went to the mall, um, like just like slap the door at me, like, and I was like, listen, I was even so nice. I don't know why I was so like stupid, but I was just trying to talk through, like, listen, I know it's your birthday, like we don't have to like argue, like everything it's fine, like I'm here alone, da da da. And like she was like, whatever, like she made an appointment to go to the spa at the mall. She like left and like closed the door, and like I was just like, I just was in this belief that this all was going on.
Right.
So yeah, I was by myself in a Muslim country, away from my family. So what I did was I called my mom, and honestly, I was so like evenly like scared to stay in the room. I took all of my stuff, like, and then I just went downstairs to the hotel
Lobby.
And like at first, like I knew that she wasn't there, and I just got like another room for myself. But like I made sure like to no one like was to make sure that she didn't see me. But I just took all my stuff, and like I was really scared. And like honestly, I was so scared to even like see her in the lobby or something like that, because I hate confrontation.
Right.
I'm not like, and I was just like, yeah, she texted me to leave the room. Yeah, that's right, Mom. I forgot about that.
Wait,
so before when okay, so when she left to go through the spot, like to the spot that I told you guys, like I was like, we don't have to do this. She like before like she blocked me, she texted me and was like, you need to leave the room right now. You need to leave.
What? Yo.
Because you're her
Like-
child now.
Huh?
Because you're her child now. She's bossing
Yeah,
you
like
around
I need to
you're
leave
her
the room.
child.
Like, girl, what? Like, I've been
Yeah, guys, so that's like a little bit of the snippet. One of the ladies who did go to a Dubai trip with Mary Jane, she's sharing her experience of what happened to her allegedly. But yeah, she's sharing her experience. So, and I also need to mention that so the girl who did the interview, she interviewed another one of the ladies who went to the Egypt trip. So she hosted a Dubai trip and an Egypt trip. Her name is Jazzy Nate S. Thomas. She did such a really good job with that interview. So I definitely would suggest, listen to the lady's story. And I think she conducted the interview so well. There's a lot we can learn from this experience. Um, yeah, so yeah, I definitely do think that it is you could definitely, put the lady in danger because the girl, she sounds so scared because she wasn't really sure even about going just because traveling alone, being a woman, especially going to Dubai. I've never been to Dubai, so I'm not exactly sure how it is, but I know they're very strict, especially when it comes to women. So
And
luckily
I
I'm not.
and I think this was during the pandemic. I think she, um, at least from one of the victims, one of the ladies that was telling their story. I don't know if it's the same person, but I think that she mentioned it was around the pandemic, and she said the same thing. Like this is she doesn't first time being in Dubai. She doesn't have itineraries. She doesn't really know what's going on. So this is just all new to her. So it's yeah, you can definitely put they could have definitely been in danger.
Yeah, they really could have definitely been in danger. Like, she could have put those ladies in danger. But I'm so glad that the girl, she was able to get back home safe, and she did the right thing. Just move herself, take herself out of the situation, and move herself into a different room. Yeah. And hi, everyone. If you're watching, please, interact. Let us know. Have you heard this story before? Is this your first time hearing this story? Please let us know. And what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, definitely share your experience as well. If you have been in a situation, again, we did share a personal story in relation to like scamming. There's a lot of that going on, and this is not just really. And we don't just want to focus on Mary Jane. This is surviving Mary Jane. We just want to also some of awareness to everyone out there. Just be careful with the kind of business you're doing online or who you decide to do business with online. Make sure these are credible people. Make sure that you're able to really Google them, really do some research before you really go out, really, put your money out there. And again, ask for reviews, ask for people who's, let's say if you're doing this travel stuff, ask for references like, what are people saying, and just kind of get some feedbacks. Again, YouTube is a very powerful channel, like a communication channel, like just a social platform, not just YouTube, but Instagram, just a lot of these different social media outlets. So you can definitely find a lot of things about people and move from there. But I just suggest you definitely do your research before you get into any of these things because there's a lot of scamming going on out there. So with that, Cindy, do you have any last minute things you want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say. Yeah. Have you seen? Yeah, Dubai is a nice place. Like it is really, really nice. It's so futuristic. Like it's so just the architecture. It's just like beyond its years, most definitely. And I can only imagine how much like it's really expensive, and that's not nothing to be playing with. To be playing with people's money like that, yeah, right. Like we got to make sure they're credible. Whoever you decide to give your coins to, you got to make sure they are a credible source because yeah, it is really tough. But other than that, that is all I have to say. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say in regards to the situation. We just wanted to come on here to talk about it. Also, share our own experience on what happened to us, and also, just kind of everyone just needs to be kind of safe on who you trust with your money. You know.
Yep, that's true. So, with that being said, thank you all so much again for joining us. This actually went past than what we were actually expecting, but yeah, we really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much again for your love and support. Before you do leave, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, really do appreciate it so much. Again, we are a small small YouTubers, and we have other reviews as well. We do reviews on different shows, and we also talk about things like this, especially things where we can learn from, like this situation. We like to about awareness. We just like to touch up on some of these topics, especially if we've been there, if we've gone through a similar situation. We just want to make sure everyone is really tuning in to what's going on around them. Thank you so much, DJ Carlise. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to like this video. Also check out our other videos, and also tune in whenever we do have a live, and we'll try to make it interactive. We'll try to make it, so you guys can get to know a little bit about us. But yeah, please be sure to like this video, subscribe. Thank you guys so much. And that is the end of this live. Peace, love, and blessings, guys. And please, please be safe out there. Be safe. All right. Bye, guys.